A very good evening to you. It is my hope that you had a lovely day. It is that time to give you the day's update of what has been happening across all 47 counties and the whole nation, of course, international news and sports in general. We're coming to you live from our studios in Mombasa County 001. Thank you for making time to join us on TV 47 News tonight. My name is Mariam Mwacharo. Sign language interpreter is Ann Wairimo. Now, before we give you the day's updates, let's take a look at some of those stories in the highlights.
Tonight, the Ministry of Health clears the air on misinformation over the importation of the Russian COVID-19 vaccine by private entities, even as the AstraZeneca jab risks expiring in storage facilities. Also, tonight, the Jubilee party is still the party to watch after members allied to DP William Ruto and UDA pledge support for Jubilee candidate in the by-elections in Garissa, Juja and Bonchari. Plus, Parliament still unable to crack the legal hurdles that bar amendments on the BBI Constitution Amendment Bill, even as old mistrust reigns among proponents of the BBI. And Class 8 candidates write their final KCPE test today as the Form 4 candidates prepare for the date with the examiner on Friday.
And we begin with the Pharmacy and Poisons Board has approved the emergency use of Russia-based Sputnik 5 vaccine in Kenya. This is according to the Ministry of Health that says 2 more vaccine manufacturers have applied for the emergency use of their products in the country as the government looks to expand the range of COVID-19 vaccines in the country. Zainab Muhammad reports.
As the COVID-19 vaccination exercise in the country continues to move at a snail's pace due to hesitancy among Kenyans, the government through the Pharmacy and Poisons Board has announced the approval of the entry of yet another COVID-19 vaccine, this time from Russia. According to the Ministry of Health, the vaccine that is reported to have already arrived in the country has only been approved for emergency use.
We have reports about the arrival of the Russian Sputnik 5 vaccines in the country. We also know a technical agreement stipulating the responsibilities of all parties involved in the distribution is yet to be submitted to the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, which means that the vaccine has therefore not received all the necessary regulatory approvals for use in the country.
The ministry dismissing claims of existing adverts by certain private hospitals for the sale of the Sputnik vaccine, saying no hospital or pharmacy in the country is allowed to sell the vaccine just yet. The ministry insisting it will be applying stringent measures in matters distribution, sale and even batch numbers of the Sputnik vaccine once it reaches that stage.
Seen those adverts are false. There's no current pharmacy or hospital in the country that has a Sputnik 5 vaccine with them. And through the emergency market authorization, it is actually illegal for a facility to advertise and to say that it has that commodity.
The Russia-based Sputnik vaccine has been approved in over 68 countries across the world and is reported to have an efficacy of about 92%. As at now, a total of 64,100 essential persons have received the AstraZeneca vaccine, with a new vaccine expected to be distributed to the private sector for sale to those interested in the jab. Meanwhile, the National Assembly Committee on Health visited the Kitengela vaccine depot to investigate claims that some Ministry of Health top officials are colluding with private hospitals to get the vaccine at a price. However, after the visit, the committee dismissed the claims, saying the depot is secure.
There were a few issues that we wanted to find out, that they were concerned that these vaccines are being sold. And so from the team, and I know the management, they were going to talk about it. They are not aware, and we would urge the public, if they know anybody who is selling the vaccine, we would like to know, because the vaccine comes in free to the country, and it's also supposed to go free to Kenyans.
Zainab Mohammed, TV 47.
Elsewhere, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has warned those planning to cheat in the KCSE examinations set to begin this week that legal action will be taken against them if caught. Magoha says the ministry has received information of the plans. Some schools have to hire university students to sit for the exams on behalf of the candidates. Meanwhile, Class 8 candidates completed their KCPE earlier today. Our Senior Education Affairs reporter Sharon Baranga reports.
Form 4 candidates are in the last-minute preparations ahead of starting their KCSE examinations on Friday this week. Tomorrow they will have rehearsals, but even before the exams kick off, already Education Cabinet Secretary says they have received information of plans to cheat in the exams.
But as we go to the KCSE examination, we are following up quite a number of cheeky center managers together with their collaborators. And I would have this to say that the integrity of the examination shall be protected at any cost. So if you think that you are bold enough, whether you are from Homa Bay or from Migori or from Isebania or even from Kisii, my warning to you is that you stop confusing our children. We are not scaring the children, we are protecting them.
Magoha says some examination centers have hired university students to sit for the exams on behalf of some candidates.
We are watching you. They think they are very advanced because they may even have interfered with the photographs. But it shall not happen under our guard.
In the meantime, the 2020 Class 8 candidates wrote their last paper today. The 3-day exams was not marred by irregularities, but there were a few issues that were taken care of swiftly.
We had a case in Nyamira Borabu where 8 learners were not registered. And we made sure that a week earlier they were registered. I was there on Monday personally, and I found those learners sitting exam. They were starting a little late because we collect extra papers from all the schools and bring to them, but I talked to them and they looked very fine.
Those children took their exams and their rights will be preserved as the exam is marked, as the multi-agencies continue to follow the crooked managers of the so-called private school.
Parents have been urged to support the 100% transition policy by ensuring all pupils who sat this year's KCPE join secondary school in July after their results are released.
The government pays free secondary education fees for all the children who go to secondary school. 3 days secondary fees, and that is 22,420.
They have fought a very gallant fight, and like I had said, we as a government shall remember as we complete their marking in 1 or 2 weeks' time that they were out of school for such a long time. And there is nothing a child has to worry about. For the ones who are yet to start taking their exams, just come and give us what you have. It is going to be good enough for us.
Form 4 candidates will take approximately a month to complete their KCSE examinations. Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
On other news, Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala has been ejected as the Senate Deputy Minority Leader following a NASA parliamentary group meeting that had been convened by Senate Minority Leader James Orengo to discuss the fate of the ANC party leader. Malala's removal has, however, been faulted by the former Senate Minority Leader and Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula, insisting that Malala's unceremonious election is directly linked to the just concluded Matungu by-election where ANC and ODM parties faced off.
He says it considers the move a hostile action from ODM, the party claiming that the move might have been occasioned by the recent Matungu by-election in which ODM lost to ANC. Ford Kenya party boss Moses Wetangula also condemned the move, saying it's against the NASA agreement and that it has a direct link to the Matungu by-election. Lurambi MP Titus Hamala has regretted the move, saying Malala will rise up, while his nominated counterpart Godfrey Osotsi saying every leader should be given a fair hearing.
Tumeona wametoa senata wangu wa Kakamega Cleophas Malala, na mimi ninasimama hapa kama mbunge wa Senator Malala. Malala is my voter katika constituency yangu ya Lurambi. Mimi ningependa kusema kwamba tulipoingia katika NASA tuliingia kama equal partners, lakini vile mambo imeendelea ndio tumeona kwamba kuna wengine walikuwa wakukula mabaki, wakungojea chini ya meza vile vitaanguka. Chenye mimi naambia Cleophas Malala ajipe moyo, is a young person, na wacha nikwambie future ya Kenya haiko ndani ya watu wa miaka 50 kama mimi kwenda mbele. Future ya Kenya iko kwa vijana kama Malala. Hawa ndio vijana ambao kuanzia 2022 nitakana wawe katika nafasi bora za kuondoa ufisadi, kupigana na ukabila na kuweka Kenya mahali pazuri.
The party, in this case ANC, and particularly selected members of the party, led by Barack Muluka, did not follow the due process, and that the decision they took to expel me and even seek my removal from parliament was not within the constitution of the party.
Their concerns come a few hours after Senator James Orengo announced Malala's ouster, replacing him with Kilifi Senator Stewart Mazayo.
We have had a meeting this morning of the NASA coalition. The invitations went out through the office of the whip, and we didn't meet from 8 o'clock, we met from 9 o'clock.
This comes as NASA coalition parties, ANC, Ford Kenya and Wiper, are seen to be working with KANU for a possible coalition. Daniel Masiza, TV46.
Now, a 39-year-old woman from Kisumu town has escaped death by a whisker after she was dragged behind a pickup by county askaris, commonly known as Kanjo, for allegedly doing business in the CBD. The incident, which was captured on camera, has raised an uproar across the country as the woman cries for justice. Andrine Kilemi with the details.
These were the scenes witnessed in Kisumu town earlier today as a 39-year-old woman was dragged behind a speeding pickup with her lower limbs on the tarmac. The incident raised an uproar in the town and on social media platforms as angry boda operators followed the car and bystanders watched the heinous act helplessly.
Nilikuwa natembea huko side ya General hapo. Nimestukia tu wamenizingira wote na pickup. Wakaanza kuvuruta hii mali yangu kwa kichwa. Alafu akaanza kunivuta niingie kwa gari kata. Alafu kuna mwingine anaitwa Nyumba. Akashika mkono yangu akiwa kwa gari. Alafu mwingine anaitwa Wiki. Akaanza kusukuma matako yangu niingie kwa gari nikakataa. Wakasema watoe gari. Wakaanza kunivuta na gari mpaka huko.
The woman, who has been identified as Beatrice Atieno, is said to have been harassed by the same city county askaris in the past, sustaining injuries.
Sisi alifanyiwa operation ya hernia. Hakuna kidonda kwa tumbo yake. Sasa hiyo siku walipiga Beatrice mpaka tukabeba Beatrice mpaka St. Jairus. Watu wa Kanjo.
According to eyewitnesses, the woman was dragged behind a white pickup for about 150 meters from the scene to a nearby police station.
It is a barbaric behavior and we cannot accept. And I want to call on the head of the department of that inspector to come out strongly and take an action against the particular people who did that atrocious act.
Residents have condemned the incident while demanding for an action taken against the involved county askaris. Andrine Kilemi, TV47.
Well, and that story brings us to a first short break, but do not go too far. We'll be back with more news, including sports.
You are watching 47, the home of untold stories.
Looking for the smoothest writing pen with an excellent grip and long-lasting ink? Kaluma Pen is all that and more. Write your own success with Kaluma Pen.
Tamasha Paints, rangi ambayo imeimarika, rangi ya kipekee. Tamasha Paints ni kampuni ya kimataifa ya kuuza aina zozote za rangi ambazo zimechanganywa na teknolojia ya kisasa. Tunakuletea rangi aina ya Cover Malt, Silk Vinyl, Vinyl Matte, Weather Guard, Super Gloss na High Gloss. Pia tuna mafunzo ya kutengeneza rangi zilizopita mafunzo ya kimataifa. Tunafunza kutoka mwanzo hadi mwisho kwa muda wa miezi miwili. Shule yetu ina vyumba vya malazi kwa malipo ya shilingi 40 pekee. Tunapatia wanafunzi wetu cheti inayotambulika kote nchini, kuwatafutia attachment na kuwapatia kazi wanapomaliza masomo. Tunakuuzia mashini ya kutengeneza rangi na kemikali za hali ya juu kwa bei nafuu. Kwa maelezo zaidi tutembelee Kangundo Road, Choka area karibu na stage ya Hurlingham, ama uwasiliane nasi kupitia 0712 222 893. Rangi si rangi, rangi ni Tamasha Paints.
Accelerate your career growth by studying at Jordan College of Technology Thika, the leading technical, business and hospitality training institution in Kenya. As we celebrate 13 years of quality training and academic excellence, we invite you to apply for the various courses during our April 2021 intake. We offer over 50 government-approved diploma and certificate courses in catering and hotel management, journalism, electrical and electronics engineering, fashion design and garment making, hair and beauty, business courses, plumbing, ICT, secretarial, tourism, laboratory science, nutrition and dietetics, community development, driving classes, among others. With qualified lecturers, a dynamic approach to teaching and state-of-the-art training facilities, Jordan College is making world-class education affordable and accessible to all. Our graduates are sought after and have excelled in the job market. For more details, call us or visit our Thika main campus at Alisa Plaza. Jordan College of Technology Thika, a legacy of quality training and academic excellence.
Kaluma King Herbal Lozenges zinazo nguvu maradufu kutuliza kikohozi, vidonda vya koo na mafua. Kaluma King ni shwari.
Chika mama huyo muharifu kaiba kuku zangu, vifaranga wangu na mayai zote pia kabeba. Haya, chika mama huyo.
Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari. You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Thank you for staying with us and welcome back. Now, 2 people have been killed in Mandera County and several others injured after a bus they were traveling on ran over an IED about 15 kilometers to Mandera town. North and Eastern Region Police Commander confirmed the incident this morning and termed the incident as a cowardly attack by the Somalia-based militant group Al-Shabaab. Passengers aboard the bus suffered serious injuries, and Mandera Referral Hospital is planning to airlift some of them to Nairobi.
These are casualties that survived the Mandera bus IED attack and who were rushed to Mandera Referral Hospital. A shocking incident that was initially thought to have killed many passengers of Brothers Coach operating within Mandera County. 2 people were killed in the Wednesday morning incident.
We are condemning this incident. Strongest possible term. It is a terror incident, and it is something that we cannot tolerate for it as the leadership of this county.
This is not the first attack on a passenger bus in Mandera County. Attacks have been carried out by the Somali-based militant group Al-Shabaab, but this time targeting locals.
This incident follows a number of other such incidences targeting security personnel on this road of Mandera-Lafayette onwards to Kutulo.
Mandera Governor Ali Ibrahim Roba has on several occasions urged security agencies in the county to urgently combat sporadic Al-Shabaab attacks in Mandera County. Nearly every road in the county was inaccessible, according to the governor, as a result of fears that an ambush was looming. No major attacks have been reported in the past few months, but this could ignite and renew debate on the war against terror that has taken a new face.
Tumekaa sana bila shambulizi wowote. Nashukuru raia wametoka kutupea information kwa muda ambayo tumekuwa tukikaa vizuri na wananchi hapo. Hiyo route ya kutoka Lave, Vino, Arabia, Arirosi mpaka Mandera.
The region currently lacks non-local teachers to serve in schools due to insecurity and attacks on non-local teachers.
I would like to urge the government to upscale their current ongoing efforts within the county to secure these roads.
Actually, we have a number of security personnel that works in this county, and we urge them to do their work seriously.
Tens of people, if not hundreds, have been killed in routes in the region, either by IEDs planted on the road or attackers ambushing commuter buses and shooting the passengers. Esedin Haji, TV47, Mandera County.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has met Coastal Regional Governors Hassan Joho of Mombasa, Amason Kingi of Kilifi, and Kwale Salim Mvurya in State House, Nairobi. The move, seen as aimed at solidifying the Coast region's support, comes on a day Deputy President William Ruto also met MPs from the region. DP Ruto's allies are now accusing the president of trying to weaken ODM in the region. Mvurya has been Ruto's point man at the coast. Kilifi's Kingi has been spearheading a united political party for the region, set to be launched this year. Now, moving on, the committee that was formed to iron out outstanding issues on the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 is set to kick off its sittings tomorrow. MPs are yet to agree on the allocation on 70 extra constituencies, as well as whether the House can amend the bill or not. Elizabeth Mutuku with the details.
The subcommittee that was formed to look into the current standoff on the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 is set to start its sitting Thursday to iron out outstanding issues.
As chair of Legal Affairs, Justice, Legal Affairs, Human Rights Committee, I must ensure that this process is in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya 2010. We owe it to the public, we owe it to the people of Kenya, we owe it to the future generations that we do this process the right way. And I say this is historic. This is the very first time that the National Assembly and the Senate is midwifing a process to amend the Constitution through a popular initiative under Article 257.
Lawmakers within the committee are said to disagree on, among others, the allocation of the 70 extra constituencies to 29 counties. IBC last week told the Joint Committee that it's the only body mandated by the Constitution to do boundary delimitation. At the time, the BBI task force had already allocated the units.
But in my view, Parliament is not a voting machine. Parliament is accountable to the people. So when there's an issue before it, the people will want to hear what Parliament says about it. But you would know, as a matter of fact, that the BBI process is supported and the NASA coalition is supporting the process.
Another standoff is on whether the House can amend the bill or just play ceremonial role as it stands in the current constitution. It's a matter that raised mixed reaction among lawyers during the public participation exercise. According to the Kenya Law Reform Commission, Parliament can only amend typos in the bill but not substance of the bill. The Commission argues that the bill by a popular initiative means that Parliament cannot go to the substance. However, the Commission argues that if the House finds some little disharmony which does not go to the root of the substance, then it can make adjustments to ensure the voice of the people is heard.
Determination in terms of the issues that were brought before the House. We must answer those questions. We must answer those questions. Like when the Kenya National Bureau of Standards, which is a statutory body, comes and addresses Parliament, we cannot take that for nothing. They require an answer. We didn't create that body, or the IIBC brings issues before Parliament, or the Kenya Law Reform Commission. By the way, this, you heard it, the person who drafted this amendment bill came and gave views. Yeah, now go and look at what he said, instead of asking me. And he thought Parliament has a role.
If Parliament did not have a role, why does 257 say that once it's passed through the National Assembly, it will be introduced to Parliament? Why does 257 say Parliament will either pass or reject? Is it in vain? Ask yourself. Why does it need to come to Parliament under 257 if Parliament has got no role? The Constitution could have said once the county assemblies are done, it goes to the President for assent, or it goes to IBC for referendum. Read the Constitution, 257. Is it in vain? Why was it put that it will come to Parliament? Why does Article 118 say that in all our legislative work, we must involve the public? Why?
The House is set to debate the bill next month after the Joint Committee requested for more time. The standoff witnessed in Parliament is threatening to derail the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 with hope that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are going to intervene. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV 47 Palm Buildings, Nairobi.
Now, former commercial director at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, Eliud Muridhi, has told the Public Investment Committee he attempted to stop the purchase of unnecessary COVID-19 items at inflated prices but was overruled. Muridhi, who was appearing before the committee, said KEMSA continued procuring COVID-19 supplies even when it was clear they would not be needed.
Appearing before the National Assembly's Public Investments Committee, former commercial director at KEMSA, Eliud Muridhi, told the committee that his advice on procurement of medical equipment to fight COVID-19 was ignored. Muridhi says his former boss, Jonah Manjari, made decisions without incorporating his staff.
Letters had no price indication at all. Mr. Chairman, I would need to confirm at this particular
I'm telling you now, I'm confirming to you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. These commitment letters have no form of price indication at all. The only price indications that are coming are from here. You have already told us that as per the paperwork, it is clear the CEO used his authority, and now Honorable Rashid asked you what was the red flag you raised. Other than the fact that you did emails, and in these emails, none of them were sent to this CEO.
Which you advised that this procurement process and the entities, the amount that are being purchased, have bloated the budget provision to the entity. Can you provide that in letter?
I think when the last time when I was here, on 24th of April, I advised the senior management, which was chaired by the CEO.
Muridhi told the committee that he attempted to stop the purchase of unnecessary COVID-19 items at inflated prices in April last year, but was overruled. Muridhi told the senators that his department would not know if KEMSA undertook a price survey before undertaking procurement of COVID-19 supplies. According to the procurement director, Charles Juma, in the wake of COVID-19 in the month of March, it was hard to do market survey for the items, forcing them to ask the suppliers the prices of medical equipment that were to be supplied.
They were told your price will be this, and they have said this under oath. Are we understanding each other?
I can also be able to confirm that there was no price which was pre-planned.
But it was just a coincidence that all of them ended up being in the same price.
What we did only is to get the market price of the items from other entities which we are procuring, and then we agreed as senior management.
Very good. This is the hold on, Mr. Juma.
Yes, yes.
In your own words, you said all you did was get the market price as per the other entities that are buying.
Entities, yes.
Thank you very much.
After seeking advice from various professionals, that's what I came.
That's why I just asked you. Did you seek legal advice? Which other professional is this that you sought advice from? Did you write to the PPRA and ask them this?
No, we did not.
Did you write to the Solicitor General or the Attorney General of this country?
We did not.
Did you write to anyone?
No, we did not write to anyone.
Who did you seek this advice from?
Colleagues in the profession.
So you called your colleagues?
Yes, sir.
And they told you that go ahead and do it in this manner.
I was explaining to them the situation in which we were.
But instead of calling your colleagues in this, why didn't you just take the liberty, as you were doing one or you were doing two, why didn't you take the liberty of just doing a small email or a letter to the Solicitor General or anyone else?
The procurement director says that in an email, direct procurement had already been initiated and progressed. Juma argues that only 3 companies of Omar Limited, Nairobi Agencies and Harleys Limited were allowed to bid. Suspended MD Jonah Manjari, who was expected to appear before the committee, will be grilled on Thursday.
It's time now we take another short break here. We'll be right back.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories. The drama continues.
Ruby, mimi nilikuambia kwamba niko tayari kukuchukua wewe ukue bibi yangu.
The secrets intensify.
Unakuja tu kutembelea?
Kunitembelea kwa nini? Unanitaka na unataka wafanyikazi wako? Toka.
Who will win Abel's heart between Ruby and Esther? Watch as the drama unfolds. Plan Ya Siri. Every Saturday at 8 p.m.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
At Trisent School of Medical Health, Science and Technology, we offer highly competitive courses tailor-made to suit your needs. These include certificate and diploma in theatre technology, medical engineering, nutrition and dietetics, radiography and sonography, science lab, health records, environmental health science, counseling psychology, applied biology, social work and community development, information and communication technology, among others. Register now at our Nairobi campus in Nairobi West around Nyayo National Stadium on 0700-129536. Our Juja campus next to Jomo Kenyatta University on 0700-000760. And our Kisumu campus opposite Swan Center, Oginga Odinga Street on 0703-201229. Trisent School of Medical Health, Science and Technology, where careers come to life. Proposed Nairobi-Mombasa Expressway. With the under construction of JKIA Westlands Superhighway, this will shorten the distance by 1 hour fastway in, out and away from all the hustle and bustle of Nairobi City, or should we call it Kanairo? What are you waiting for? Whether you are looking to buy and build or invest, book prime land with us now and be sure of high returns on your investment. Call us on 0708-423244 or email us at info@uip.co.ke or visit our website www.uip.co.ke. UIP Real Estate, the home of affordable land.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Thank you for staying tuned to TV47. This is the home of untold stories. Now moving on, the Jubilee Party will once again put its political strength into test after it unveiled candidates for the forthcoming Bonchari, Juja and Garissa by-elections. The unveiling was attended by a section of UDA allies, as Joash Onsare reports.
candidates.
The Jubilee Party unveiled its candidates in various by-elections slated for May this year. During the unveiling, section of UDA promised to drum up support for Jubilee candidates for Garissa senatorial race, as well as Juja and Bonchari parliamentary seats.
We are very delighted to be able to unveil to you our candidates.
Despite our political differences, despite our clan differences, despite our religious orientation, we have agreed the best we could do for the late Senator Haji.
John Opore will flag the Jubilee ticket in Bonchari, facing Pavel Oimeke, who was given a direct ticket by ODM. Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe says the move by the party to face ODM was informed by the fact that the seat was not held by ODM and there it's up for grab. UDA is however not fielding a candidate.
Wale wamesimamishwa, wengine wanauliza ni kwa nini tunapingana na ODM na tuko na handshake. Mujue kwamba hiyo kiti haikuwa ya ODM. Sawa sawa.
Susan Waititu, the spouse to the late Francis Waititu in Juja, will flag the Jubilee ticket in Juja, with the party claiming to be in talks with other candidates to withdraw from the race. Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria's People's Empowerment Party is fielding George Koimburi in the race.
Hata Juja tutajaribu kuongelesha wale wengine. Tuone kama mama ataingia pia unopposed.
Abdul Mohamed Haji, son to the late Senator Yusuf Haji, was issued his nomination certificate to vie for Garissa senatorial seat. The three will submit their nomination certificates to IEBC next week.
Very unique for us. We have joined and we have talked as leaders here, and we have agreed that we wish to bring to the Senate Mr. Abdul unopposed. And I would like to thank all the candidates. I think three have shown interest. All the three have pulled out. We are not aware of any other, but if any other comes, we are going to talk to them. We want to show that unity in respect of Mr. Haji, so that Abdul can become our senator for the remaining period.
DP Ruto's UDA has in the recent past been said to be backing off in the by-elections after losing in Matungu, Kabuchai and Machakos recently.
Na safari hii mpya ambayo tumeanza, mtaona tukileta wafuasi wetu pamoja. Nashukuru leo kwa sababu namuona Duale hapa mbele anazungumza na amesema kwamba yeye ni kati ambao walifufua na walianzisha chama hiki. Na nataka kusema kwamba tusiwache mwana akafinywa ama akalala njaa. Kwa hivyo namkaribisha Duale na mwambia safari hii tusafiri pamoja. Ni safi sana.
Jubilee Party fielding candidates in various by-elections slated for May, and UDA Party, an affiliate party of the Deputy President William Ruto, pulling out from the race is a clear indication Jubilee Party has dominance across the country. Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, in slightly over a year since the COVID-19 pandemic struck, more than 2,000 people in the country have lost the battle to the virus, even as COVID-19 related fatalities continue to rise each passing day. Some families have been forced to bear the heavier brunt, having lost not one, not two, but three of their kin, either at a go or in quick succession, to the virus. Among the families is that of Lilian Mutinda, the head of health promotion at the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, who in less than a week buried her mother and a cousin, both victims of COVID-19, while her two sisters battled harrowing experiences in isolation. David Mudhoka narrates.
At her house in Kahawa West, Kiambu County, Lilian Mutinda, the head of health promotion at the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, is visibly in pain. The trained nurse is yet to come to terms with the drastic demise of her 84-year-old mother Alice Mutua, who succumbed to COVID-19 on March 13th after a 2-week-long battle with the virus. In tracing her late mother's footsteps, Lilian tells us that her aunt's burial that was held in late February proved fatal to their family after various members who had attended the send-off, including her mother, 2 sisters and a cousin, contracted COVID-19.
My members of family and those who had gone for that burial quickly took into steps of isolating and going for tests. So the first test that my mom did was within 3 days after the burial, which was inconclusive.
While some of the members tested positive for the virus, her mother's test came out inconclusive. Meanwhile, that of her sister Naomi showed she did not have the virus. Even though the results did not raise any red flag, the two stayed put in isolation, just like the rest of the family members. Barely a week later, things took a turn for the worse when her mother, who has been living with hypertension, contracted a sore throat and a cough.
I arranged for them to get tested again on Wednesday, and they were both found to be positive.
It felt like the end of the world for Lilian, who for the past 12 months has been on the front line in the fight against COVID-19. This time the virus had knocked at her door, threatening to snatch those she held dear. On 10th March, her mother, low on oxygen, and her sister Naomi were admitted to Mama Lucy Hospital. 3 days on, her mother began to show signs of recovery.
On Saturday, she managed to take a meal. She had asked for some meal from home, which I did, and she ate it heartedly.
But little did Lilian know that would be her last meal. That evening, her mother breathed her last in the midst of her 2 daughters.
Despite being a medic, it was overwhelming. It was unbelievable.
Fast forward to Tuesday the following week, Lilian led a handful of mourners in Yatta, Machakos County in burying her mother. Her 2 sisters, Naomi and Emily, who are now out of the woods, followed their mother's final journey virtually.
A relative was also being buried the same Saturday, who had also contracted COVID. So even to the larger family, it was a double blow.
She would not have imagined that her mother of all people will contract the virus, reminiscing how she had always held her guard up since COVID-19 broke out in the country last year.
We told my mom to be very restrictive and not to accept visitors coming into our homestead. We know upcountry how people are. You like visiting each other. And my mother would clearly tell people from the gate that they can talk from the gate, not to enter.
Lilian wishes that perhaps the virus could have waited just a little bit longer before infecting her mother, who was on the verge of vaccination.
In fact, we had even planned that when she gets better, she could even be assessed and get, because we knew she was living with hypertension, and we didn't want to put her at any risk.
The news of the double blow have seen the family come face to face with stigma from a section of villagers in Kidhimani, Yatta. But according to Lilian, instead of looking at the stigma glass as half empty, she sees it as half full.
In case any of them have COVID, they don't risk infecting you. And in case any of us have, then we shall also not infect anybody else.
Barely hours after 2 of Lilian's kin were lowered to eternal rest, a somber mood engulfed Dr. Patricia Wawira's home in Bere, North Embu County, as the 47-year-old policy officer at the International Organization for Immigration and her mother, Catherine Njuki, were laid to rest after succumbing to COVID-19, also in a span of 2 days. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Now, tuberculosis remains the biggest infectious killer disease in the world today. Even with a spiraling spread across the world, COVID-19 deaths dwarf those by TB by far. And TB does not just kill, it also exposes people to stigma that is sometimes more devastating than the infections. Kenya today joined the world in marking the TB Day with a commitment to ending the disease by the year 2030.
March 24th annually is a day set aside to sensitize people around the world about tuberculosis, according to the World Health Organization, or WHO. The Ministry of Health in Kenya has said that the government is determined to end tuberculosis as part of the universal healthcare goal.
This year's theme of World TB Day calls for equitable access to prevention, treatment, and care in line with WHO's drive towards achieving universal health coverage. We have domesticated the theme to reflect Kenya's goals and targets. And our theme for Kenya is "The clock is ticking. It is time to end TB in Kenya."
Various counties today, through health departments, participated in commemorating this day, giving account to TB statistics in their regions and plans to eradicate the epidemic. But TB survivors say they were victims of stigmatization, especially during the HIV times. Penina Nduku and Martin Mutisia from Makueni County are among those who conquered TB and decided to be part of the campaigns to end TB and TB stigma.
I lost my husband, so ni kama familia ilikaa imenitega. So it looks walikuwa wananijaji like ni mimi nilikuja na hiyo TB, sifai kuwa kwa hiyo mboma.
Mtu akiwa na TB ki community wanga wengine wanafikiria hii si ugonjwa wa kawaida. Hii pengine ni ugonjwa wa kuna laana ya kimboma.
Experts have explained that the signs and symptoms of TB, such as breathing difficulties and fever, are similar to those of coronavirus, saying this has affected the real statistics for TB cases in the year 2020.
Na unapokuja hospitali utapata magonjwa haya ya mawili yanajitokeza na dalili ambazo zinafanana kwa kiasi kikubwa. Utapata mtu mwenye ako na COVID na mtu mwenye ako na TB, wote wana shida ya kupumua kama ugonjwa umezidi sana. Wote wako na joto mwilini na wote wataweza kuzungumzia kama wana dalili ya ama ile symptom tunaita ya kukohoa.
Bungoma County reports that 300 people died of TB in the year 2020 alone.
In 2019 we lost 320 people in Bungoma due to TB. Those ones documented 2019. 2020 data, we are still working on it. We shall be releasing the official data.
Grace Josephine, TV47.
The government of Kenya has issued a 14-day ultimatum to the United Nations Agency on Refugees to close down Dadaab and Kakuma refugee camps. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i told the United Nations High Commissioner representative to Kenya that there was no more room for negotiations. On its part, the UNHCR insists that they will continue with dialogue with the Kenyan government to keep the camps.
For close to 5 years now, the government of Kenya has been mulling a plan to repatriate refugees from the Dadaab and Kakuma refugee camps back to their countries of origin. The government says that the two camps, accommodating more than 500,000 refugees, have become sleeper cells for terrorists, thus rendering them a huge national security threat posed by some refugees. Kenya made good her threat Tuesday when Interior CS Fred Matiang'i told UNHCR representative to Kenya Fadhia Abdallah that the agency had been given 14 days to close shop in Dadaab and Kakuma amid simmering tensions between Kenya and Somalia over the maritime border row between the two countries. Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Macharia Kamau has mocked the Somalia government, saying that 30 years on, there is no end in sight to end the refugee crisis in Somalia, with 2 million refugees still in Kenya, either in camps or integrated. In a series of tweets, Macharia says the United Nations and UNHCR need to seek suitable and sustainable solutions to self-inflicted refugee crisis from Somalia, not Kenya. He goes on to say that Somalia, unlike refugees source country, has no external enemy to drive refugee crisis. He opines that everything in Somalia is self-inflicted. In a quick rejoinder, UNHCR says it is concerned about the impact this decision would have on the protection of refugees, including in the context of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The agency says it will continue their dialogue with the Kenyan authorities on this issue. Further, the agency has urged the government to ensure that any decisions to allow for suitable and sustainable solutions to be found, and that those who continue to need protection are able to receive it. The decision by the government to close the camps will indubitably exacerbate the already strained relationship between Nairobi and Mogadishu. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
And now from the land of sandy beaches and blue waters in the oceans, I take you back to our studios in Nairobi where Dennis Otieno awaits with sports news. Dennis, it's good to see you. How are you doing? Take it away.
Well, thank you, Mariam Macharo. Now, of course, good to see you too. And tonight we have a lot that is lined up for you. We shall be telling you what went down in round 2 of the Savannah Classic Golf Tournament. We shall also be telling you about what the former Harambee Stars captain Musa Otieno thinks of stigmatization of COVID-19 patients.